everybody. Welcome back to the Click and Mortar podcast. Mike and Dustin here again with you. We're excited to talk this week about the general progression of a lead generation campaign. A lot of this will be setting expectations for you all out there on how these campaigns roll along and move along in their progression. A lot of times when people get going, understandably, they're very anxious to get leads going, to get business growing, to get things moving. And it's good to know that as we roll out a digital advertising program, like all good things, it takes a little bit of time. So we explain this quite often that you're going to have to be patient and see it go along this progression. And we want to show you all that progression as an example with a client we're working with so you can see the data and not just take our word for it. So Dustin's going to drop into a live example of a client we're working with right now where we saw this exact progression happen from launching the program to starting to get some volume to then ramping and scaling. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Dustin to dive into this mini case study of expectations at launch for lead generation program.
Cool. So let's go ahead and just dive into the ad platform. And really what we're going to start looking at is Meta. Because there's a little bit of a limited budget out the gate, Meta was the great choice. There's a lot of different targeting that we can do. And so out the gate, what we were testing is really trying to get phone calls, trying to get messenger messages coming in and getting someone to a landing page to fill out a form or make a phone call. So out the gate, didn't see a whole lot of traction with any of the campaigns. And so we'll kind of get into here just so that we're looking, April 16th is when things really started to take off. So we started spending, no phone calls, nothing there, and really nothing was working. So we decided to go ahead and make it a little bit easier on platform and launch lead ads. So that's where we really launch, and you can start seeing, leads coming in, but going back, it took a couple days to really start seeing leads come in. April 23rd is when we launched this. April 24th is when we start seeing leads. So there was a good week and a half of testing different where we're landing someone to see if we're going to get our outcome. With that, you see some volatility at the very beginning. It shoots up, comes down, a lot of ups and downs, but over the last couple weeks, we're seeing progression upwards. So we went from nothing to getting some volatility to starting to get some consistency. And so I'll pause there. I'm sure you're dying with some questions, Mike.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you clarify again at the beginning, just to drive home the point, what happened at the beginning and what was the differentiating factor there for generating some lead volume?
There are different places that we can land people and different actions we want someone to take. We got to test what those actions are, and as much as we try to have a crystal ball, we don't know what your audience likes to do in terms of how they want to reach out. So we were testing getting someone to a landing page. We're trying to get Facebook and Instagram DMs and messages, trying to get phone calls from the app, and then really just trying to get someone natively to fill out a form. So we were testing all those different iterations and quickly found, in terms of a week and a half, found which avenue was the best avenue to start generating those conversations.
Perfect. Yeah. So you just alluded to what I was going to now jump into, which is took a week and a half to get some volume. So this is this same clients reporting that we supply for them. This is not native in platform, but this is our custom reporting for them. As you can see, first couple weeks, flat to nothing. Not a lot happening there, right? We were finding the initial right mix of landing, messaging, creative, those pieces. So we're talking 2 weeks of no signal, no results yet, etc. We're getting signal, but no results. Then the next 3 weeks, progression, right? And again, for you at home, this is spend and this is number of leads. I don't know how clearly you can see those numbers, but went from 1 lead in 2 weeks to 9 leads the next week to 14 leads the following week to 26 leads the week after that. The point is that once we hone in on those initial pieces that we need to hone in on, that's when initial volume is going to happen. And you're talking a 5-week period here, right? It takes time to do that and to get to that point. So, Dustin, any comments on that piece once we did? So I guess the question from there is, okay, once we find the right mix, how does it start to ramp and scale a little bit, other than the obvious, which is spend?
Great question. The next step is really the quality and working with the client, using the data to see, are these leads turning into great quality conversations, and ultimately, are they turning into revenue? So we're having back and forth with the client, on the weekly, and from that, we're making different steps within the platform. We're adding questions to the forms to get more qualified. So we're kind of driving too many conversations, and we want more people that are interested to buy now. So we're adding more questions to the fields. We're leaning more into Google where there's more search intent. And so now we've kind of found the faucet to start conversations. Now let's put a little strainer below that and start filtering for the real quality conversations. And so asking more questions, leaning more into search on Google is the plan of attack.
Absolutely. There is art and science once lead volume starts to come in. At that point, you're having a discussion, and we're working with you with quality versus quantity. And that is a consistent process. This isn't a set it and forget it process. This isn't a one and done deal. This is, hey, what's our right balance between volume and quality? And where are those coming from? How do we optimize into either the platforms, the ads, the campaigns that are generating quality? And as we also know, that then shifts. Quality all of a sudden starts to come from somewhere else. So we need to shift over to there, etc. So great point on, yes, volume is one thing. You want to see some action. You want to see movement, and clients want to see movement. And then it becomes, what's the right balance between quality and quantity? And a lot of that, is also dictated by spend, right? Like spend has to be locked in. And we do talk with people a lot about, hey, let's find this groove first before we start scaling, because scale really needs to be efficient scale and quality scale too, right?
Absolutely. I think the kind of last piece there is after you give it patience, more so be attuned once this volume starts coming in, be attuned to what the conversations are that are happening. Are there common questions that people are asking? Because we could use that and front load that in the ads and alleviate that. And now you don't have as many leads, but now they're more qualified. Is there a common objection happening? As much as we can look at the data and optimize, it is critical to get feedback as to, one, why are these qualified? But more importantly, two, where are the unqualified leads coming from so that we can address the communication and targeting accordingly.
And as we get more sophisticated and as we work with clients more, we start to talk to you about lead scoring and automatically qualifying people or not qualifying people. We have those capabilities and those abilities as well. And that does take some sophistication depending on where you are in your progression with this. So we hope this was helpful. The goal here was to outline the progression of these campaigns and typically how they move along from launch into your second, third, fourth week of starting to get some scale, and then the conversations that happen around scale versus quality and all of that. So we hope this is a nice outline of progression and what you can expect at the beginning of a campaign, and then once we're in the meat of it, what we're doing at that point. So with that, any last words, Dustin, before we sign off?
Yeah, just hopefully this sets expectations. Feel that's pretty much all that's missed out the gate in most situations is just not alignment on what to expect. So hopefully this helps, whether you work with us or do it on your own.
Fantastic. Thanks again for joining. If this is of interest to you and you are new to us, go ahead and schedule a demo, schedule a call with us. We're doing discovery sessions all the time, so we'd love to jump into your business and how we can help you out. So go ahead and click the links that are associated with this ad or this page, wherever you might be on our website. There's book a demo links as well at eic.agency. And that's the first step with us. So go ahead and book calls with us if this feels interesting to you at eic.agency. And until next time, we will see you later.